And hello, hello. I think I might be a couple seconds late here, but welcome to another episode of Success Scopes with Carolyn R. Owens. Hello, Carolyn Farron, the first one to join us. Hey, that's my mom. Hi, Mom. And probably Cindy won't be too far behind her. Cindy Owens, that's my sister. But they're always typically the first ones with Diana, who jumps on first. But thank you for being here with us this week for our episode of Follow Up Friday Success Scopes with Carolyn R. Owens. For those who don't know me, I am the chairwoman and CEO of Infinity Coaching Incorporated, where we help you up-level your skills so you can up-level your income. You know, so much that's been going on right now. Um, we've been talking about personal responsibility, and we have our scopes here. We're here Mondays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we try to keep them, Mondays, it was supposed to be 15 minutes, but we've been doing about 20 minutes on Mondays. And on Fridays, we're here just for a quick check-in, just to see how, like on Mondays, we give you tips and strategies that help you move forward in your career, your business, your life, so that you can have success on your own terms. And then on Friday, we jump in and follow up on the different tips and strategies that we gave, see how you've applied them in your life, and any questions, ideas or anything that comes up for you. And if this is the first time you're here with us, you can tell us where you are, who you are. You could type it in the chat so we could get to know a little bit about you too. But again, I thank you for being here on, it's not? You can't see me? Are you able to see me now? Are you there? Can you see me? Okay, great. Okay. So you can hear me, you can see me, we're good to go again. Don't know what happened there, but technology, sometimes you lose that connection. But I was saying that on Mondays we're here, and then Fridays we're here. And this week we started something new, being here on Thursdays in the evening, where we do a little bit of real talk. So we're going to be talking about some of the issues and topics as they relate to what we've been talking about throughout the week, some of that real life, real experience. Not that it's just a topic that we're talking about, but how does it relate to real life? How does it relate to our careers, our jobs? Some of the things that I've experienced in life. So through it, you kind of get to know more about me, my experience, and things that I've seen, as far as those career issues, business issues, life issues. So it's a lot of fun. I did the first one this week, and we'll be continuing that next Thursday. But we've been talking about personal responsibility. We talked about being a victim. We talked about this past week about it's your fault, the blame game that we place. But before, I think, I even talk about that, the more pressing issue is, you've all been following that hurricane that's taken place, Matthew there. And the last report I saw that, and I'm not sure the numbers, that there's about 800 people that have lost their lives because of this hurricane, and primarily in Haiti. And I thought that when I looked at Twitter before I came on here, that it'd be a topic that would be trending, or just even thinking about all the lives that have been lost, the devastation, that it's the worst hurricane that hit Haiti in over, half a century. And also that we're still not done with seeing the damage that's going to come here to the East Coast. We got the Carolinas, we got Georgia, we got Florida. I have a lot of friends from, traveling and living in different places. A lot of friends that are in Florida have been able to touch base with them. So far everything was great for them. But we still got to get to, I have family in the Carolinas, just people, friends in Georgia. But I just ask that we keep everybody in prayer. It's going to be a lot of recovery. South Carolina saying that what they thought was going to be the impact is going to be much worse. So we just got to keep everybody in prayer and think about that. We don't know what's going to happen. These are circumstances that we don't have control of, and tomorrow isn't promised to any of us. And I highly encourage you to live your best life, live up to your full potential, enjoy the life that we have. There's just so much happening that we just don't know what's going to happen. So, but do keep the prayer, keep praying for the people, the family members that are impacted. And I just The jump from the last number I saw was 339, and now I'm seeing reports that say 800. It's just unbelievable. And we have people in the States here that have, family, friends that are in Haiti. So definitely send that prayer up, lift it up, please. And it's hard to switch from more different topics when you see so much devastation taking place. But I do want to kind of wrap up the week when we were talking about personal responsibility, and somebody wrote, we're living in the last days. And that's why I'm really getting that relationship right, doing the things that we need to do, and doesn't mean that we stop living, but really that we do live, and that we're here to support each other and to help each other. That kind of ties into this whole topic of personal responsibility, and that it comes about, we choose our actions in life, and with the actions that we're choosing, there's consequences that are good, that are bad, but it's about owning up to that and taking responsibilities for the choices, the actions that we take, and the decisions that we make. And oftentimes you will find that we blame others for different things that have happened to us. There are going to be things that we don't have control over. We don't choose. We don't get to choose our parents. Often we're in work situations where they hire a boss that just drives us crazy. And yeah, we have choices. We can stay and try to make the situation better, or we can leave and go get another job. But really, we can't control other people. We can influence them, we can inspire them, but we cannot control them. The only thing that we can control is ourselves. But when we find ourselves in situations where, for example, report we were supposed to get done, and we were waiting for information from somebody else, they're not getting it to us, but what responsibility are we taking that the report didn't get done? Who did we reach out to? Did we go to their supervisor? Yeah, that's kind of hard to do, but it was some reflecting on it not getting done, that you're not performing, yet you're blaming them as opposed to stepping up and doing the things we need to do. And it's time that we shouldn't place that blame game, but just thinking about how can we're the CEO of our future. And so what can we do? What can we control? Ourselves. So when we think about the lives that we're living, are we living up to our full potential? There's a lot of things that happen to us in life. And again, there's a lot of things we don't have control over, like the hurricane and the weather and the different things that are happening right now. We don't control that. What we can control is how we help others, how we serve others, and the actions and things that we take, and how we choose to live our lives. And that's when and I'm probably going in a different direction when I was thinking personal responsibility today and over this past week, but I didn't really anticipate seeing what I saw today. And it really, I'm one of those kind of compassionate people, so it really kind of hits my heart to see what's happening, But when we think about our own personal responsibility, God gives us the free will to make the choices we make. And sorry about that, it keeps dinging over there. And as I said, we are the CEO of our future, and our success is our responsibility. It's not for anyone else to kind of give us everything that we desire in life and the things that are happening. When we look at our circumstances and we easily say, this happened to us because of this person, or this happened because of that person. But again, at some point, we've got to step up and say, hey, Kate, what can I do about this? We can't control the way our spouse or our partner treats us. Again, we can't control someone else. And we spend so much time that we blame others, that we don't take responsibilities for the choices that we make. And it allows us to hold ourselves prisoner. And it's almost like we should surrender control to our lives, to everything that's happening to us, and we let life just happen. We don't step up. We don't own the things that are happening. We don't take the responsibility. I was out today, and I doctor that I was talking to, and we were having a conversation about, it's crazy, about text messages and how you can send somebody a text message, and if they don't reply or they do reply, all the judgment and things and blame and that we put into that text message when we may not know the entire circumstances. So when you start putting that blame on somebody and you're judging them, and thank you, when you start putting that blame on them, and you put so much just into a simple text message without stopping to say, hey, what is this really all about? And we do that. So I had did it myself today when it's like, man, somebody didn't respond to a text message that I sent a couple of days ago, and you have no clue. Well, I'm very fortunate that just before I started this scope, I got the reply back, but I had to even catch myself in the judgment I was placing about what was happening and why they didn't kind of text me back. And it was something important that I needed to know, and I was like, okay, what's really going on? But I was able to get the message back, and I know everything's okay with them now, and everything's good. But you just kind of, we put so much into things, and then it's like we start saying, well, it's because of this or it's because of that, and those are the type of things we gotta check ourselves on when it comes to the blame game. And I said it's your fault, but I also call it the blame game. When we look at it, and when something's happened, it's very easy to not take responsibility and to deflect it on someone else without having to step up and really look at that person in the mirror. We talk about when we're pointing a finger at someone, we got 3 fingers pointing back at us when we do that. Then I gave you guys the quote that I want to make sure I have my quote here, from John Wooden. He's the basketball player and coach. He was a head coach at UCLA, and he won 10 NCAA championships. But he said that you can make mistakes, but you aren't a failure until you start blaming others for those mistakes. And so that's that blame blame game that we're talking about, that we're really starting to take. Instead of taking that responsibility for the choices and decisions we make, we're deflecting it and we're putting it on somebody else. But in essence, really, I hate to use the word failure though, but in this circumstance, then who's the failure really? So not being that victim that we talked about last week, and letting our limiting beliefs, our experiences block us from our true success. Not putting the blame on someone, because when you do that, people you'll have people that kind of join in with you, and they're looking at that person and they're thinking, passing judgment, and then that infectious kind of negativity starts to create, and really it stops you from being able to move forward, because it becomes easier and easier for you to blame somebody else and to make excuses for why you're not doing the things that you need to do and being responsible for your own success. And we do it sometimes so unconsciously. And like when we talked about being a victim, we get so stuck that these are the things that we've done so much that we don't see the way out. We don't see that, hey, there's something different for us, that we can do this. And it's, we get that self-doubt, we get the low self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, and sometimes people even get depressed because they feel so stuck in that situation. And and sometimes it's not going to be easy to start, because you've had this mindset or you've had these feelings for so long. It's hard to shake that off. It can be, but I'm going to say you can do it. You're going to have people who tell you you can't, that you have to. There's people who actually like to keep other people in that victim state. We talk about misery loves company. That crabs in a bucket, you always hear me talk about that, where we kind of pulling each other down and not letting the other one get to their success. But I believe in taking that hand and reaching down and bringing that person with you as we climb that ladder of success. So we got to get out of that blame game, also the woulda, coulda, shoulda that we do, that allows us to get stuck. And we got to start owning our choices and accepting responsibility. And it's also going to shift the way that people look at you and how they view you as you take responsibility, good or bad, for the good or bad consequences that come into our lives. And being able to have that voice and speaking up and knowing that you have to be able to go to that person that you need to communicate with instead of blaming them. Take time to find out what really happened. Don't just pass judgment on a situation and start pointing fingers at everybody everywhere. Danielle's here with us, and she has Pulp Consulting. Pulp Consulting 2 is her Twitter handle. And she's a wonderful administrative assistant, virtual assistant that can help you with a lot of your graphics, your newsletters. She helps me put my newsletter together. I give her the content, and she turns it into this beautiful document. But she was saying that a lot of those people are called control freaks. But being able to have a voice and having that communication and speaking up, because a lot of times that miscommunication is that roadblock that again will prevent you from having that success you desire. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I mentioned that we blame each other, that we can go around and pointing our fingers. But here's the thing, a lot of times we blame ourselves. We blame ourselves, and we, for things that have happened, for those bad choices, or, I don't even like to say mistakes, but just the choices that we've made, and we look at ourselves and we think, what the heck did I do? And we live in that guilt. We live in fear, and we won't let ourselves even forgive ourselves for some of those choices we've made, especially when we're younger and we do certain things and you're like, what? You can't rebound from it. You can't pick yourself up. And so we don't take time to forgive ourselves. But the power of forgiveness and being able to let go and move on with your life, because we are here for a purpose. God doesn't want us to sit here in that miserable state, not being able to have forgiveness, and He forgives us. So then we can forgive ourselves too. So those are just some things when you think about being a victim in that blame game, being able to own your choices and have responsibility, having a voice and being able to speak up when you need to, and that power of forgiveness, being able to forgive others as well as ourselves. And I wanted to, you guys know I always have that affirmation throughout the week, and I just want to remind you what that affirmation was. I got to find it real quick. Give me 2 seconds. I got papers everywhere. The affirmation for the week was, I forgive myself for being imperfect like everybody else. However, I still manage to live the best life that I can. None of us are perfect. When I sit here, it's so funny because it was so hard for me to even start doing scopes and having to look at myself on a video and think, oh God, I could find every single flaw in myself. And it's like, but none of us are perfect. I have friends who will hop on and do Facebook Live. I prefer Periscope, and they'll hop on Periscope and they won't even comb their hair. They roll out of bed, hop on here, it's like, hey, and I'm like, wow, how powerful is that they're so comfortable that they just jump on here and they go into it. But they're not worried about that perfection. They're not worried about those things. But we have to be able to accept ourselves and know we're not perfect, and none of us are. But we can live that best life. Learn to forgive ourselves for any choices that we may find and think, oh God, what did I do? That, we look at it and we find the blessing in it. We find a lesson that's to be learned. Life is going to happen to us. That's something that we can't stop. It's something we can't control. We're going to have good things that happen. We're going to have bad things that happen. But we can't let it stop us so much that we don't take the personal responsibility. We step up and we live. Live the best life that you can. That's all I want for you guys. Living that best fulfilled life. And remember, life is short. So let's live it, right? You can join us we have our free Facebook community where we post and share a lot about, we have Wealthy Wednesday, Motivational Mondays. We have tips about using social media and different things that we do. And I invite you to join us there. It's just a free Facebook group. It is infinitycoaching.net/community. And we invite you to join us there. I may send you a couple questions asking about joining the group and everything. And once you kind of hear back, then we'll go ahead and accept you in the group, get you introduced, and start interacting with everybody. It's a great, wonderful group doing a lot of great things. And then I also invite you to let me get it right, October 27th, we're going to be kicking off our Inner Circle, which is going to be a little different. We're going to have some real live teaching of what I call power skills that help you truly have that extraordinary life and amazing career. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a limited amount of people, but it's open enrollment, and it continuously goes on, because there's so much that we need to stay in tune with to help keep us motivated, to help keep us inspired. You have a lot of coaching programs out there, and they'll give you like a dose of, like a fire hose approach, 8 weeks, or, just a short period of time, and they kind of leave you hanging. It's, well, how do you apply this? How do you really stay motivated? How do you keep each other going? So it's a great group to join. And again, that one's kicking off October 27th. And you can find more about that by going to infinitycoaching.net/inner circle. And I encourage you to take a look at that, take a look at the free community, take a look at the inner circle. And you can always come back here with us on Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back where we're going to continue a couple more things we want to talk about when it comes to personal responsibility. And I want you to really take a moment and think about so that you can really own and design your life. We will be back then, and then we're here Thursday, 5:30 p.m., where we do our Real Talk, our Success Scopes Real Talk, where it's going to just be real life issues of the day that we're talking about, and how, you know, all the strategies, tips we've been talking about apply for really living life. And then Friday, I'm going to have to switch it up next week. I am in a wonderful, wonderful writing class that I am actually supposed to be in right now, but hey, I promise you guys I'd be here today at 2 p.m. and I want to try and be consistent and show up. So I'm going to hop into that as soon as I'm done. I love to write. I've been doing a lot more articles lately. You can find them in my Twitter feed. I got to put them on my own blog. I've been writing for other people's blogs, but definitely want to jump into that class. But I'll be there from 2 to 3 for the next 3 weeks. So I'm going to shift and do 3:30 for the Friday scopes for the next 3 weeks. And I'll be posted on social media, so you'll see it. And you guys can find me all over social media if you want to connect with me. Just type in Carolyn R. Owens or Carol R. Owens on Twitter. Connect with me. I love, love, love to hear from people who are following me, because I truly appreciate your support. I really, really do. And I'm not just saying that because you could be watching any scope or doing something else. So thank you so much. I will then go ahead and let you get started with your weekend. I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed weekend, and do something fun this weekend. You know, as I said, life is too short. Think about something that you wanted to do, or somebody you want to just pick up the phone and call and say, hey, that you haven't talked to in a long time. You know, just, it will make you feel good and they'll feel good. So again, thank you for joining us for this Friday's Follow-Up Friday, our Success Scopes here. We will see you back Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern. I want you to have an awesome, blessed week. And until next time, here's to your success. Bye. Bye. See you guys. Have a good weekend.